You're listening to the Mastermind Parenting Podcast with Randy Rubenstein, episode 109. My name is Randy Rubenstein, and welcome to the Mastermind Parenting Podcast, where we believe when your thoughts grow, the conversations in your home flow. On the podcast this week, I included a clip of a video that I made for my private mastermind during all this Corona craziness, where I was just making sort of some daily clips and just kind of giving them a snapshot into my life and the way things were going down in my own household. And what I included here was how I establish the real rules in my family. That's what I call it. And, when I walk people through the NICE framework for solving any problem with your kids, when you get to the E, it's enforcing consequences. And what I found is that this is the hardest part for people. And it's like their brains get super confused because enforcing consequences is tough. You have to do some planning. You have to, ahead of time, make sure that you have thought through things and you have a conversation about the way things are going to go down. And then you establish what I call is the real rules, which is, all right, we got this plan in place. And what happens when you have a human moment and you don't get off the video games, don't turn your phone in at the time that was specified, don't, do the things that you have committed to doing. Don't show up as that responsible person that we just discussed you're going to show up as. What happens then? And so this is like the tag on to the productive conversation where you really walk through those hypothetical scenarios and problem solve with your kids. And this is where you establish the real rules. So when blah, blah, blah happens, and it will most likely, because you're human and you're a kid and you'll want to be on that screen longer after the time goes up, or you'll be in the middle of a game and you'll say, just another minute. Or I'll say it's bedtime and you'll say, but I was just doing this. Or because those moments happen. So when we have rules and when they don't happen, we have consequences. This helps your brain to remember why these rules are important and need to be followed. This will help your brain to be successful in following the rules. That's what consequences do. Consequences are different than punishments because consequences actually teach people things. Okay, they teach people things. Punishment, they've done studies on this. Punishment for kids 12 and younger, it doesn't teach, it doesn't improve future behavior. All it does, and even they've done studies, in fact, with people older than 12, like in prison systems, why what's the word for it? Why, God, what is the word when the recidivism rate? I sound smart when I say that, although I couldn't think of it, so maybe not so much. But the recidivism rate is super high. Like prisoners, they get released and then they go right back to prison, like 2/3 of them within, I don't know, I think it's like 3 to 5 years. Because that punishment model, it doesn't improve future behavior. It doesn't stop the problem. Consequences, however, when done the right way, improve future behavior. So that's exactly what I'm talking about here, is that we're going to enforce consequences, not because it's an eye for an eye and we just feel like you should pay. It's because the human brain has a hard time changing patterns. And the kid's going to do the same thing over and over and over again until they learn some new skills and are able to change patterns. So when we enforce consequences and when we do it this way, that we're in relationship, even though our kids aren't going to be happy about it, we're not yelling, we're not shaming, we're not damaging our relationship in the process. We're doing it because we actually care to help them build skills and improve their future behavior. When it's done the right way, they don't, all it does is improve our lives, improve our relationships, improve our households. So there's an art to learning how to actually enforce the consequences, establish the real rules. Rules are important, and these will be the consequences, because this is what's going to make a big impact in your brain and help your brain to remember. And you're not going to be happy about it. And it's okay. You're going to be super mad at me, and it's okay. So this is the hardest part for parents, because this is not the way most of us were raised. This is growth mindset. This is us focusing on the effort, on the growth. This is growth mindset versus fixed mindset. It is not the way most people were raised. It is the way we continue to grow and evolve and improve as humans. And so it is not going to come naturally to you guys. And if I can learn it, I promise you can too. This is not the way I was raised. And I didn't have anyone teaching me this. I had to piecemeal a bunch of different things and throw them together and create the Mastermind Parenting Recipe. And it took me over 20 freaking years to do it. So I'm trying to fast track that for you guys. And so that's really what I talk about in this clip. Is what it looks like in my own life in a real moment after having done this for years, what it looks like and how it's not so hunky-dory. And so y'all will hear, like, I'm making this video and it's like we're all on, recent lockdown during this whole corona situation. And so you'll hear, like, I've got morning voice. I just really wanted to share, like, this is the real stuff. This is what it really looks like in my life. And it's not always so rosy. So hopefully y'all will find this episode helpful, and it will help you to enforce those consequences in your own family, because I'm telling you guys, this is the game-changing formula for improving future behavior. So enjoy.
What I was thinking is, look, the pack leadership piece is an issue that I think many people have trouble with. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about is the productive conversation, and especially right now when we're spending so much time together, we have to be pack leaders and have rules established, and we have to have consequences. We have to enforce consequences. The nice solution to any problem, right, is, are they getting enough sleep? Are they getting enough fuel? Are they getting enough activity? Are they getting enough stimulation? Are they getting enough connection? That's the basic needs. Okay, if you have a kid that's showing up with all kinds of behaviors, we got to assess the basic needs. Then we got to investigate all behaviors communication. Maybe they've got anxiety, because all of us have anxiety right now, right? Maybe they're missing their friends. Maybe there's lots of different things. Maybe they're picking up on our anxiety. Maybe they're getting used to their new normal and their sensitive nervous system kid, and this all feels wonky and they feel super unsettled in the world. Okay, got to investigate. Communicate with empathy, and pack leadership. And then we've got to enforce consequences. So right now, what I want to really focus on is the communication piece. And these productive conversations, you guys, they don't wrap up always in one sitting. Or like in my family alone, we had been empathizing with, there's lots of disappointment that's gone on. We've been empathizing with Adriana. I was talking about you, and I don't think I finished the thought, but anybody who watched Adriana on the call yesterday, which I would love an update here, Adriana, let me get my coffee, is that she had just, she was spinning. So we had to get her oxygen mask on. We had to settle some thoughts. We had to shift those thoughts. She was tapping. We had to bring out the essential oils. We had to talk about systems and a plan and what she was going to do to show up in pack leadership. So that's what you guys have to do in order to have these productive conversations. And when the productive conversations happen, like in my family, so we had been empathizing for days, especially with my daughter. She's a senior in high school. She's been waiting for college decisions. She can't even visit I mean, there was lots of colleges that we were like, you know what, we're not going to visit until we know what the options are, and then we'll just do a bunch of trips mid-March through April, and visit wherever you're thinking of going, and you'll make your decision then. So Avery's had a whole year of having to deal with all this college stuff. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, and she was really counting on this time, and she can't visit. And now she's getting decisions, and she can't visit anywhere. So we're going, like, she's having to deal with virtual tours, blah blah blah. Damn it! Let me go closer. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. A whole month in Israel. Her school goes to a whole month in Israel the last week of the school year, senior year. Missing it. Wait, hold on, guys. All right, it's dark. So there's been a lot of freaking disappointment with her. So we've been empathizing, okay? Guess what, though? When it came time to finally have the family meeting, which really just happened at dinner, I was putting down the rules. And this was on Monday. And we had empathized so much, and we had that at this point, the family meeting really was Scott and I establishing the rules and the way things were going to go. Nobody was happy about it. Avery was shut down and dramatic. And she's 18 years old. This is ridiculous. Blah, 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 blah. And Corey was, had been a mess. There had been a door slam. There had been a device taken away. There was drama. This is my point, is there was drama. And Scott and I are now establishing the rules at the table. This is the way it's going to go down this week. Things are going to be in writing. We're all, figuring this out. We're all disappointed, and we got to have things running smoothly. We've got businesses to run. We've got things to do. Dad's already had a tenant move out, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to work together. And the way it went today, with me making lunch and then you guys all sitting around in the family room on your devices, nobody lifting a finger, that we're not doing it that way anymore. I was like, it left me pissed and resentful, and we're not doing it like that. So we're going to have some systems. We're going to have some order. We're going to work together. We're going to figure out our new normal. Y'all, my point is it wasn't hunky-dory and sing-songy. This was the problem-solving part of, for days we've been empathizing. For days we've been saying, well, what's going to work for you? Well, tell me about this online school, blah, 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 blah. And now they're not doing it. So now we're establishing the rules of, if you're not managing your stuff or doing X, Y, and Z, now these are the rules in place. And this is when we divvied up who was in charge of different nights for dinner and what that involved. Whoever does the dinner also cleans up after dinner. Y'all can work together, or y'all can have separate days, kids. Everybody chose their nights. We came up, I said, from 1 to 3, you guys are mine. What does that mean? I was like, well, it means I might give you a daily assignment. It means I might have you help me with something for Mastermind. It means that we're going to be off any devices. We might go for a family walk. I might have a special thing for y'all to learn. We might watch a TED Talk together. I don't know. But guess what? I'm the teacher. Corey, you're not my teacher. I still have my teachers. We're still doing online classroom, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah. And guess what? They want parents to work in partnership. Here, I am now the teacher too. So what I say is, from 1 to 3, that's my time with you. No matter what they said, it's just rolling off. I'm not even responding. Avery's like, and Corey's like saying, and I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. This is what we're doing. At this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm the grown-up. I'm the boss. This is it. So devices will be here. Devices will be here from this time to this time. Devices will be plugged in here from this time to this time. Avery's going, I'm 18 years old. I'm like, all right. As far as I know, you still live here. We still pay for you. We still feed you. You still seem to be quite a dependent. You're counting on us to pay for your deal and to send you to college. Yep, you're still the kid. We're still the grown-ups. Doesn't look like you're enlisting in the military. So it's not pretty. This establishment of the rules, you guys, at the end of the productive conversation, which is you being like, here's the rules. This is what you're going to refer back to. This is what you're going to follow through on. So I was just telling a mom, she's like, but I can't get him to stay in his room during a meltdown. And he follows me around and he does this. I'm like, yeah, when you have this conversation and you have the establishment of the rules, this is when you address those things. And when one of these situations happens and I say, go take 5 and calm down. When you're calm, we can talk about it. I can't even understand you. And you follow me and badger me and invade my space and are disrespectful of my space and refuse to do the thing, then this will be the consequence. That tells me you're clearly out of control in your body. You need more sleep. You'll be going to bed 30 minutes earlier, and screen time will be off limits for that day. And if you continue to badger, it will be off limits for the next day too. If you continue the next day as well, then it'll be a 30-minute earlier lights out and no screen time until further notice. Got it? We are not doing it this way. I can do better. You can do better. We have to do things that help your brain to remember why it's so important to be responsible members of this family. And I love you too much not to do this. I haven't been so consistent in the past. And it's sent you mixed messages. And I love you more than that. And I can do better. And I will do better. And you will do better. Because we're going to be spending lots of time together. And this time can be a beautiful thing or it can be a horrible thing because we're at each other's throats. So we're doing it differently. The old way is over. The new way is here. And we have the opportunity to have a lot more fun. But I am going to be sticking to these rules. Because I love you too much not to. And I know you can do better, and I know I can do better. So this is the conversation. These kids, especially our highly sensitive ones, during these anxious times, during this uncertain time, they're picking up on our anxieties. That's why I'm like, brain dump, tap, do all the things. You need your A game, mamas and daddies. They're picking up. The world needs the grown-ups. The world needs the grown-ups. The little people need the grown-ups. Of course they're acting like dictators. Of course they're going to dig their heels in. Of course they're going to do everything possible to get as much time on their screens for that little false dopamine hit as possible because they're unsettled and they're nervous and they're dysregulated. And they need us to show up in this pack leadership to help them feel grounded and safe in the world. No matter what's going on out there, we got this in here. I will make sure you were fed. I will make sure your needs are met. And we're going to do it differently. Because if you continue to fight and just let them have the constant little fake dopamine hits, which let me tell you something, we're on our screens more than usual right now. So we all will be. But if you're a family who's not utilizing this time to spend any time together and everyone's just in their own separate spaces on their own separate devices all day, every day, not taking any time to connect, well, that wears on everyone too, because then everybody starts to feel really depressed and isolated and sad and alone. So, my point is that there's that balance that we want to all find. So we have to have these rules. And to be like, we're not going to be device free by any means. You work from home, put your kids to work. Let them be a valuable member of the family. Talk about being citizens of the world. Talk about businesses that are really struggling and how we get to all do this together. Let them be useful. Let them be helpful. If you've got teenagers, let them do data entry. Be a pack leader in terms of setting out your system and your plan for the day. And like how we did with establishing who does dinner what days and all that. From 1 to 3 this is happening, in the morning this is happening, in the afternoon from 4 to 6 that's your time. Y'all can go and Fortnite it up, whatever it is. And have your basic structure. If you have kids where they haven't given you any virtual learning, the school hasn't, and you have to create your own, I want to let you know that I see this as an opportunity to go beyond traditional education and to expand ourselves. This is the time where you get to watch TED Talks together. This is the time where you get to let your kids, your device-loving kids, you give them an assignment like making a documentary. They can learn how to become experts at iMovie and GarageBand and make memes and find a quote of the day, a historical quote, or a quote that will uplift, that to be a citizen of the world. Find a quote. I love looking for quotes and memes. So find a quote, go into Google Images and find the quote of the day that represents something that you want to spread in the world, and then you make a meme. I use a little thing. All the memes. Good morning. Okay. All the meme. I use something called Meme-matic. I think it's free, and you can make little memes or whatever. Give them little projects, assignments, out of the box thinking, all of it. I just read an article that kids are doing the relaxing technology, but they're not doing the creative part of technology. And so it was an article where Pixar said that they have no problem finding coders, but they can't find people to do the creative parts of the job. So foster those skills in your kids. Let them make a documentary of this time. Let them, but yeah, and you don't even have to look, when it comes to technology, you can be here's the deal. And you can gamify it. You can give them little challenges. You can have preview nights on Friday. Friday night is preview night. You have all week to work on this project. Let's see what you guys come up with. And you can, you guys can vote. And you can have a certain, just make it fun. Just make it fun. So, and we can all source ideas here too. So my point is we need pack leadership. We have to have a plan. We have to have systems. Do you have to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic the way a teacher would, and all of a sudden, get an education degree? No, you get to do it. Think about all your learning here in Mastermind. This is a group of trailblazers. We have an opportunity right now to step outside the box of traditional education and do it however we want. But we have to be the grown-ups in charge. We cannot let fear and panic run the show. We can use this time for good. And we need to establish the rules with the people. And we have to lean into the suckage of establishing those rules, because they will not comply or agree or be happy about it. That night at our meeting, Corey got with the program pretty quickly, because we've all decided that Corona Corey's kind of awesome. I think this is all he's ever wanted, is to have everyone together. But he has some screen addiction, and he had some withdrawal and friends and all that kind of stuff. Avery was, and then I've got the Alec factor, who's home and telling me he's 22 years old and he's going to go back to Austin next week, which I was like, yeah, no, you're not. So I've got that thing. So I've got lots of different pieces. Anyway, I don't know if that's helpful to share, to let y'all be a little bit of a fly on the wall of my life and the way it's going. But let's all do this together. No, we're not letting fear and panic run the show. We're using this time for good. And this is your opportunity. I know many of you, we're not raised to be pack leaders. We're not raised to be assertive women. These are skills that you really don't possess so easily. And so this is our opportunity to hone those skills in yourself. So you're also homeschooling yourself here, right? This is a chance. This is a chance to stop the people pleasing. When the people are pissed because you're instilling the rules, all right, okay, I get it. Not fun. No one else is doing it? Yeah, different families have different rules. Oh, you've got the short end of the stick because this is your family. You hate this family? Yeah, I would want to have one of those families that has no rules and eats nothing but junk food too. Sounds super fun. Yeah, that's not us. Like those are my responses, you guys. Roll off, roll off, roll off. And then, Alec would be like, who even likes you? I'm like, apparently Dad does. Thank God for you. And that's when me and Scott turn into the comedy routine. And I'm like, thank God for you. Because I don't think I'm very likable. And then Alec would be like, yeah, what ridiculous. And then me and Scott start doing our whole thing. Like, we've got this, you guys. We've got this.
Are you ready to start having productive conversations? Have you been listening to the podcast for a while and you hear me go through my 3-step productive conversation process to solve any problem? And you're thinking, how does she do that? Guess what? I made a really cool resource for you guys. I call it the problem solving one sheet. Okay, it's one sheet front and back, so, take it with a grain of salt. But it will walk you through how to have productive conversations, and you'll practice, and before you know it, you'll be having productive conversations all day, every day. It really is the solution to solve any problem. So you can download it at mastermindparenting.com/problem solving. All one word. That's mastermindparenting.com/problem solving. All one word.